After founding a startup in the U.S. Silicon Valley and making educational applications, Enuma CEO LEE Soo-inn recently became the first Korean to win the XPRIZE competition. In June 2013, Enuma's math education application Todo Math swept across the globe. Kitkit School is Enuma's other application that co-received first prize at the Global Learning XPRIZE. The application helps children learn how to read and write by themselves. Enuma CEO LEE Soo-inn shares with us the success story of her education startup on today's Heart to Heart. Today's guest is co-founder and CEO of Enuma, a company that's based in Silicon Valley that creates educational apps for children. Launched in 2014, Todo Math holds a record of 7 million downloads. The app ranked #1 in the App Store children education categories in over 20 countries. Now, joining us today is LEE Soo-inn, CEO of Enuma, the very first Korean to win the Global Learning XPRIZE competition. Hello and welcome to Heart. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
I'm so excited. Now, we have tried very hard to invite you, have you on our program since May. This is when you actually won the prize for the Global Learning XPRIZE, that is. And here we are finally. I'm sure you've been very, very busy. What have you been up to?
Yeah, it was really busy 4 months from the winning of Global Learning XPRIZE. I have 2 kids, so it's hard to travel to Korea.
Yes.
And also we need to meet potential investors, partners, and other influencers all around the world to amplify our stories to the world and to the potential customers and users of our apps.
Yes. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to begin by asking you to introduce Enuma. Tell us about Enuma.
Enuma is a mission-driven company that locates Berkeley, California. This founded by me and my husband, co-founder Gun-ho Lee, and we follow our heart to design the best application to help children, especially who are struggling in learning, to become independent learners. So in early stage, we focus on children with special needs and struggling learners in the classroom, and then we expand our reach to the children who couldn't access to quality education all around the world.
So how did you come up with the name Enuma? I heard there's a special story behind the name.
Not very special. We always put the meaningful name for our product and company. So Todo Math means, so the Todo of Todo Math is Spanish, means all. And Enuma comes from enumerate. Enumerate means counting one by one without missing anybody in there. So it all holds our mission to think about all children. When people think about all children, especially the company count only their customer who are wealthy and smart. But we really want to count all children, even though they are weak or poor or couldn't learn effectively. So, yeah, that just reflects our hope and mission and our dream.
I see. So it's like giving them the opportunity, giving them the chance to learn.
Yes.
I actually did take a look at Todo Math, the app, and to me it felt like an adventure for kids. You know, it's like a fun game. You have fun activities and so many fun things happening. Yes. The colors and the images and everything, so much effort and thought was put into it. It really just looked like a math adventure, for example.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's gained much recognition because I heard that it's used in elementary schools from like pre-K to grades 2 or 3, elementary school in the U.S.
Yes.
as teaching material.
When we first designed Todo Math, we designed it for struggling learners in normal classrooms. So in the United States, 40% of children who enter kindergarten are not ready. They are usually 1 to 3 years behind to start kindergarten curriculum. Once they enter the kindergarten classroom, all the curriculum develops so fast, and there is small chance to catch up. So for those children, we want to build a really effective math practice tool so they can practice on their own and catch up their peers while they just enjoy their time and really think it's fun. But after we released Todo Math to the App Store, we realized that it immediately became mainstream hit. So any child in between 3 to 7 years old just feel fun and really engaged with Todo Math. So it soon became really popular pre-K to kindergarten app, especially in Asia. However, many classroom teachers really love Todo Math because it engages children without much support from teacher.
I see.
So right now, about 1,400 classrooms in the United States are using Todo Math. How they use Todo Math are really varied from classroom to classroom. Sometimes it's a middle school classroom of children with special needs
I see.
who have a motor issue or cognitive issue. But in many cases, it's really fun kindergarten or first grade classroom. And while teachers are dealing with half of the classroom, other halves are just playing with iPad and practice math on their own while waiting, taking a turn with other half.
Ah, I see. So they're playing, but they're actually learning. Yeah, so the app has developed and you have had many users of all ages. I understand that the app is multilingual because it's supporting languages such as English and French and German, Korean, I think Portuguese and Spanish. Did I miss anything?
Japanese and Chinese.
Japanese and Chinese. So the start of Kitkit School was in 2014. This is when you entered the XPRIZE competition hosted by the XPRIZE Foundation. So could you tell us a bit about the XPRIZE Foundation, what it does, what it's about, how the competition is run, for example?
We just won the Global Learning XPRIZE competition. Each XPRIZE has different names and different theme. So Global Learning XPRIZE is 15 million competition. So they mounted $15 million to find the software, the open source software that teach basic reading, writing, math for children in developing countries by themselves. So the basic idea is, can we solve the issue of 250 million children in the world who cannot read or write?
Right.
Basically, XPRIZE is the non-profit foundation that manage and design a competition that solve the most important problem of humanity. So 25 years ago, they started to begin the competition for first private rocket.
Oh.
And then they just expanded their platform to other area. So they seek the technology to clean the ocean or the technology that can possibly harvest the water from the air or the first lunar lander that can possibly go to the moon and shoot the photos to the earth, or the solution that will remove the children's illiteracy from the world.
And that's exactly the XPRIZE for Global Learning.
Yes.
They have expanded and probably will continue as well. So as you've mentioned, the competition started in 2014 and you won this year. in May. So that means it started in 14 and ended in 2019. So 5 years. Could you tell us about the steps that you had to take, like how you started, and then I'm sure there were semi-finalists, and then each step that you had to take to come here, I mean, to become the winner, the grand prize winner?
So, wow, it's a long story. I will make it short. There was more than 700 entries when they announced Global Learning XPRIZE. And they announced two winners. We are one of the co-winners.
Yes.
The overall competition designed in that way, all the entry should submit their solution by the end of 2017. 2017. No, end of 2016. So after they see all those solutions, they will pick 5 finalists, and then we'll place those solutions to rural area of Tanzania. And they will let children in rural area play each solution for 15 months. And then the solution that child show the biggest learning gain will win.
Okay.
So 2007, so it was February 2017. We finally submitted the first version of Kitkit School in Swahili, the language of Tanzania, and in English. It includes literacy, math, early childhood education, library, music instrument, everything in one suite, because it will be given to the places without internet connectivity. So we should have all those contents in one box. After submit XPRIZE, just 1 week after submitting XPRIZE result, I went to the hospital to give a birth of my second child. It was really tough. So after we submit this result, they review all those solutions and then picked 15 semi-finalists and placed those solutions in one classroom of Tanzania and observed how children play with these solutions. Because there is no digital literacy, all of those children never saw tablet before.
So they had to start from there.
Yes. So after 2 hours, I heard that half of solutions, so children couldn't get into the solution yet.
I see.
So they picked 5 finalists with this observation and judges interview and announced the finalists on 2017 fall and gave $1 million to each of finalists to encourage them to invest more during that final
time and effort.
Yes. So the real field test started 2017 winter, and around about 300 villages, about 3,000 children in 300 villages in rural Tanzania participated to this research. It was conducted by UNESCO and World Food Program. So the basic idea is they install one solar panel in each village and just give the tablet devices to children who are from 6 to 13 years old in the village, and visited this village every 2 weeks with bike and collected the data with USB.
To see how they,
to see how they're doing. But it doesn't affect to any of the competition. The competition will only matter the test score after the 15 months. And these children just play on their own. There was no instruction, no guideline. In some cases, children should walk 4 kilometers to charge their tablet. And nobody pushed them.
They'd be willing to do it.
Yeah. That is a point of this competition. They really want to know that a human being can really want to learn and start to learn and make a progress in there and get to certain point of reading or writing on their own within that 15 months. It was really interesting experiment. One of the biggest and most expensive experiment that UN ever conducted for children's education, I heard.
I can imagine just these big smiles on these children's faces, running to charge their, their, what do you call them, their devices.
Tablets.
Yes, their tablet devices.
Unfortunately, we couldn't see it because for the fairness of the competition, they prohibited all the finalist team to enter that big region of Tanzania.
So you had to wait 15 months?
Yes.
15 months.
15 months.
A very long wait.
Very long wait.
An extremely long wait.
Yes.
Now, we are going to take a quick look at how the children in the remote villages in Tanzania are having fun learning with Kitkit School. So here's a look at it. We'll be right back. It's Tanzania, a rural country. Here you can see children who seem to be playing with an app. As you wonder what they're up to, you then figure out the app is Enuma's educational game called Kitkit School.
We are a team of about 30 people come from the United States, Korea, Indonesia, Thai, Kenya, and Tanzania. Sometimes in education software, I see there is a software that too much focus on what to deliver and what is a curriculum rather than how child will feel through this learning experience.
The first winner, my friend.
Team KitKat.
Last May, Enuma became the first Korean team to win the Global Learning XPRIZE with their Kitkit School, a competition to globally eliminate illiteracy among children. The Global Learning XPRIZE was hosted by XPRIZE Foundation, the largest nonprofit that runs competitions to encourage technological development for humanity. Once again, Enuma proved the value of educational games and their potential for a greater impact. Now I'd like to shift our focus to Enuma, and I was wondering, why was it Silicon Valley? So what made you decide to set your company up in Silicon Valley?
My husband started his PhD in 2007, and I went to United States just follow my husband. That's just how story goes. I was a game designer and really enjoyed my career. But okay, so I will just stay with my husband for a short time and maybe gave a birth beside my husband. But my son was born in San Francisco with some medical condition.
Oh, I see.
So I just realized that I can't come back to my lovely job of game design after that. And also wonder how can possibly help my child's life from that moment. Because I was not a doctor or teacher, therapist, I didn't have any profession that can be possibly helpful for his struggle in the world.
Other than being there for him when he needs his mom, right?
Yes. So it was really hard. I stayed in newborn intensive unit for 2 months. One day, a doctor just visited my child in the bed and asked really casual question like, what did you do? What was your profession before? So I told her, hey, I was game designer. Not anymore. She said, wow, fantastic. That is exactly the skill those children need in here. So I searched games for children with special needs and can see all those education games and therapy games that is designed for children with special needs. But as a game designer's point of view, the quality was not enough. Especially, I worked in Korean game industry.
And you know what the gaming industry is like here in Korea.
I know
Amazing.
how much amount of money and resource is spent to entertain healthy adults every day. But for those children who are struggling in learning, not much great technology resources or creative ideas in there. So that is a beginning of my mission to design a great learning tool to empower children with special needs
I see.
and to be independent learners. And my child grew, and I started to design some experimental tools in Berkeley. That's where I am living. After several experimental products, one VC in Palo Alto found one of my design. At that time, I was out of sponsor and finished a small project I made with some other parents of children with special needs. And he contacted me and, hey, if you want to start a company, I want to become a first investor to us.
I see.
So it is Silicon Valley. So I said, wow, it's Silicon Valley. I heard those type of story, but I never expected it will happen to my life. But I was hesitated because my son was just 3 years old. And I thought getting other people's money will be potentially not very helpful to focus on my dream to help children with special needs or struggling in learning.
Because did you feel that you were using other people's money? I mean, or was it just a burden?
I believe that VC or those money makers will not agree to my mission.
I see.
And they will soon say, hey, just stop doing all those silly or niche thing and just focus on something that will make us large amount of money.
Right.
So I just told him, I don't want to start my own company, and I don't know how to do that. But if I ever make a company, I have 2 dreams. One is we will just keep working for children who are struggling in learning. And also we started it as a parents of children with special needs. So we can't work in the workplace from 9 to 5. We sometimes need to go to therapy room, or we sometimes get a call from our children's school. We will work while our children are at school, while our children are on the bed, or when our spouse can take care of our children.
In other words, work flexible hours, right?
Yes. And he said, oh, I like this idea.
Wow.
Just please come back when you just decide to start your own company. I didn't know that, but he was quite famous angel investor. And later he said, hey, you are the first person who waited me for 9 months.
Really? Oh, he waited 9 months.
Yes. I came
We're
back.
talking about long wait stay, long competition, long 15 months, and long 9 months of waiting for your
My
answer.
son is 10 years old now. So so that's how I started the company in Silicon Valley. That was inspired by my son and all the encouragement while I am doing the experimental project. All the teachers and therapists who educated me how to deal with struggling learners and how diverse the human skill level are.
Yeah.
And finally, the great Silicon Valley system that encouraged immigrant mom who couldn't speak English well, but has some interesting skill in her hand to be an entrepreneur.
Right. I'd like to ask you one final question about something that you're working on right now. You're working on an educational program specifically developed for children of multicultural families here in Korea. So could you please tell us about that as well?
Oh, yes. Right now, we are 50 people, and 11 people in Berkeley office, and 40 are in Seoul. And many people ask us, hey, what you can give Korean society get benefit from your system.
Yes.
And we heard about children from multicultural families. Many of them are from immigrant mothers or fathers. And their Korean is fine. Sometimes they have disadvantages, but in many cases, it's more the cultural issue from their family. Some of them didn't learn hierarchical language of Korean.
Oh, I see.
So they don't know how to ask properly to teacher.
I see.
Or some of them never exposed to early education like math or Korean at home. So in this competitive system, when they come to the school without any preparation, they just realize that they are in this really great disadvantage.
And they feel that larger gap. I
Yes.
guess. Uh-huh.
And also, I feel the total empathy for their moms from multicultural, as an immigrant, and make a multicultural family. So we make a really beautiful Korean language program, but it also contains our other idea about empowering their family by using their using translation to families' other language.
I see.
We hope that we can just showcase what digital can possibly do to close the gap and really deliver the idea of diversity, inclusion, and support to any children who just feel a bit disadvantaged in any society.
I really look forward to seeing this app that finally does come out when it does come out for multicultural families in Korea specifically, because I think it'll be a great opportunity to teach these children about Korean culture as well.
Yes.
Give them the chance to find out about their true selves.
Also, my daughter and son who need to learn Korean in United
There
States,
you go, yeah.
they are waiting for that app as well.
And I hope you the best of luck with your future projects as well.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank you once again for sparing your time for us today. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Now, dreaming of a world where every child gets a decent education. Receiving education is more than just a fundamental right. We ought to see and give these children the opportunity to receive proper education, and hopefully that'll lead to a brighter future. Thanks for watching today.